Today I'm going to talk about almost every meditation technique I know, so that you understand what's possible with meditation, and so that you have the opportunity to practice in the way that best suits you. How to meditate is a question that many people ask. However, a better question would be, how should I start a meditation practice? Because there are so many ways to meditate, and your journey with meditation will work out best for you if the way you approach meditation meets your particular requirements. Usually the answer one gets if they ask the more general question, how to meditate, are mere examples of one of the most common meditations. They usually end up getting sent a random link to someone's guided breath meditation. This is a poor and unsustainable way to become a meditation practitioner, because you really want a perspective and meditation techniques that can evolve over time as you develop the skill of meditation. And I would also hope for you to discover how deep and transformative this practice can be. So if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll say more about what I believe you need to know to become a great meditator. But for now, let's jump into it and explore the many ways you can meditate. Here we go. Breath meditation. For this technique, you choose to focus on a specific sensation of the breath. It could be where the breath is felt at the tip of the nose, and the rising and falling of the abdomen, or anywhere else you might notice it. It is also possible to do this technique with a less narrow focus. Within one session, you might let your focus move, naturally noticing the breath in the different areas of your body, moment by moment. You can also do breath meditation by noticing the broader field of sensations that we associate with the breath. A common challenge with this meditation is the correct response to thoughts during this practice of focus. Many people don't know what to do when they realize they have forgotten the breath or when they notice they keep becoming distracted. Mingyur Rinpoche has the best response to this that I've heard. He says something like, thoughts can come, don't worry about the thoughts, but don't forget the object of meditation. So if thoughts come, it's really not a problem. Remember that you are training in awareness, and that getting lost and coming back is a part of getting better at this. Just gently return to your breath, and your concentration and alertness will develop over time. Meditation with the breath is a very good technique that is often taught because it means the practice of peace and mindfulness is never far away. You always have your breath with you, so you always have the opportunity to ground yourself in and amongst the throes of your regular daily life. Sense object meditation. For some, the breath isn't an obvious or naturally equanimous sensation to notice. Fortunately, with the same technique you use to meditate on the breath, you can return to focusing on any other sensation as a practice of meditation too. You can focus on a sound or field of sounds. A bell, the general audio of the room you're in, or the sounds of nature are always nice. A sight or field of sights, perhaps a candle, a ring, or a vista. I like emptying my mind and gazing forth into the space before the sky. A smell or field of smells. Incense, a flower. You could even meditate on the smell of home baking. A physical sensation or field of sensations. There's meditation beads, body scans / the changing sensations of the body, or even meditation on areas of physical discomfort. A taste or a field of tastes. You can mindfully drink a tea or eat a meal. Visualization meditation. To be honest, I don't do this meditation a lot. And let me be clear, I don't want to try to explain how to do every meditation in this video. That would be an unnecessary catalogue. But I do see the use of having a reference to all the ways you can meditate. Because this way, if your curiosity is piqued, you are then empowered to continue on without me, but also without having missed out on something that might work really good for you. So what can I say about visualization meditation? It's integral in many ancient traditions, and some modern day spiritual type people love to engage this imaginative part of their mind whilst they practice. For my own self, the practice of meditation has always been most about meeting what is already in front of me. For me, it's about learning how to overcome the difficulties of this life to live this life better. Feeling and emotion meditation. Feeling feelings or meditation with emotions can be dramatically transformative for the quality of your life. What are you feeling? Notice your emotions as an energetic field of sensations. Be with that without judgments. And eventually, the inner quality of your life can change profoundly. With meditation, it is an expected outcome that you will develop a better ability to not take things personally, to accept yourself without judgments, and to be with your emotions gracefully. The emotional weather of our lives, our moods, might be tumultuous. The more we tune into presence and the impermanent reality of things, the more the momentum for chaos in our lives doesn't pick up, and naturally, the weather can become very mild Our moods are quantumous. Meditation with thoughts. This should really be clarified as an advanced meditation technique. This idea that you can be aware of a thought without being lost in its storyline, or the meaning of it, can be confusing until you're a very skilled meditator. You'll have to refresh your practice a lot so that you can sustain your awareness, to discern the difference from being aware of the thought from actually just being lost in and thinking through the thought, being convinced of it. Again, this is a very transformative practice. If you actually succeed at this practice, you can discover an entirely fresh dimension to who, or perhaps more precisely, what you take yourself to be. To see through the beguiling, consuming nature of thoughts is to recognize the awakened or liberated mind of the Buddha, the nature of consciousness. It is to glimpse an experience of what meditators are talking about when they say enlightenment. So if you end up there, which can also be destabilizing, given how radical of an insight we're talking about, ground yourself by remembering that morals and ethics still matter. Suffering is as real as anything, and how you conduct yourself has an impact on your own and other conscious beings' well-being. Otherwise, have fun exploring and recognizing the intrinsic, spacious emptiness and therefore freedom in every moment of being you that is otherwise confined and smothered by concepts. Side effects may include rethinking your model of life, leaving behind negative patterns, and a powerful sense of freedom. Contemplation meditation. This could also include koans. Whilst it is possible to recognize all thoughts as conscious experience whilst they unfold, rather than coming out of their spouts of conceptualization, another popular practice is to more simply meditate on particular concepts. Perhaps this practice is closer to contemplation without trying to solve anything, but the not trying to solve anything usually means resting in awareness. And sometimes the concept contemplated combined with an unreaching awareness results in experiential or true meditative insight. Here, one picks a subject and then just rests and sees what occurs to them in response to the idea. This is different to thinking through a problem, as you simply evoke the topic you probably desire some development on, and then see what occurs in your experience if you leave space on the other side of it, without any striving or craving. There's a lot of value one can add to their life here, even without becoming enlightened. This is a practice for enlightening your life, dialing up the lumens as you start to see some of the stories that rule your life more clearly. People find this technique enables them to let go or move more freely about inhibitions, perhaps seeing an idea that once dominated their life in a new light. Sometimes people even receive metaphorically ambiguous, inspirational, or to be fair, even very practical answers to the examined ideas. You can pick big topics: impermanence, how much time you have, what would make your life meaningful. Are you trying to find happiness in samsara? Can you fulfill the ego? What influence do you want to be in the lives of others? How do you want to be in this world for you? And where might you find deep rest in the experience of life? Loving kindness or metta meditation. The goal of meditation is to experience more peace in this life and to be a greater source of peace for others. How do you become a more compassionate person? By stepping into the conduct of a compassionate person. Generally speaking, a lot of us could do with more kindness. And one of the main people we need to focus on being more kind towards is ourselves. And then from there, it becomes more natural to share the acceptance we find. Unconditional love is rare. Contemplate that word. Unconditional. Because we all deserve unconditional love. Our worth and our possibilities should be thought of as equal and deserved, respectively. That is how we will make this world anything good, by thinking about ourselves and others in this way. When we inherit the ignorant model of being, that the ego exists and is solid, and responsible for its fate, we become suspended in a reality that is actually false, one where we must prove our worth and assert that we are enough in meaningless and arbitrary ways. These are the conditions of so much self-hate and a large deficit of love. Discontent and the rejection of oneself is an experience that is a disease. It's viral and affecting billions of people. Rest, an empty and simple being. Recognize that in just being here, you are completely welcome. Meditation will connect us to the truth that questions about our self-worth do not exist. You are enough. There are no questions about being, it just is. And actually, you just is in a very natural and free way. Without ideas about yourself, you are free from suffering, free from concern. You are whole and complete. Be that. Guided meditation. Guided meditations can be a very effective way to practice. With the use of someone else's voice, a lot of the challenges to concentration are removed. Focus is easier to apply if we don't have to split it with the responsibility of also conducting the session. It is easier to really settle in and give ourselves completely to the meditation, knowing the progression is taken care of. The meditation guide is a further support for us, as they will also take up some of the responsibility of reminding us to return to the object of meditation when we do get lost. You can experiment with different voices. There's guided meditations for every other meditation technique too. If the guide is in the room, they can also vibe off their awareness of you to tailor the meditation to your needs as you meditate. In good guided meditations, you're a little baby bird in safe hands setting your wings to fly. It is still a good idea to learn how to meditate on your own so that you don't become reliant on having the instructions being actively delivered. Without this wisdom, it'll be hard to bridge meditation into the rest of your life where spoken instructions would be awkward. But always, more meditation is good, and taking the easiest approach for you at each step along the way is totally fine and very effective. Walking meditation and other meditations involving movement. This would include yoga in its contemporary sense, like on the mat moving through a progression, with awareness, a natural stepping stone to help you locate some of the peace you find on the cushion in the rest of your regular daily activities, is to practice some kind of dynamic or movement-based meditation. It is also possible to have more informal meditation sessions where you practice some element of mindfulness during your daily activities. If you're interested in more about that, you can watch this video. The goal of meditation is not to remain blissed out and seated for the rest of your life. So no, meditation is not limited to sitting down. Try to find somewhere quiet and where you feel comfortable, perhaps somewhere relatively flat, and take the sensations of your feet as you walk to be the object of your meditation. Eventually, you can open your awareness up to either transitory awareness of changing sensations along the walk, or even more open to an unfocused and all-accepting recognition of every sensation that occurs during the walk. If you practice this and make this element of open and embodied awareness a reality for you, you'll be able to practice meditation at any time of the day, even during conversations. Noting technique meditations. It's a good time to mention this technique, which is often used to support our awareness during other types of meditation, but that which could also technically be used on its own as a practice. The technique of noting is when you apply a simple label to whatever you happen to be aware of. If you were doing your basic breath meditation and then you became distracted experiencing thoughts about some other storyline, you could note this by labeling it thinking and then return to your breath. If you were meditating on your emotions, you might label them happy, sad, static. You can use whatever word or words work for you, but the main thing is that they better enable you to be aware of what's happening with you in the present moment. Noting should enable you during meditation to see more clearly what your present reality is, rather than getting lost in your experiences and not being mindful of a lot. Sit down, lay down, or move and use this technique. Just simply labeling what it is you happen to notice as a matter of experience. Staying mindful. Ultimately, the goal will be to just be, without getting distracted and becoming mindless, and without the noting technique, without the use of labels. But until then, the noting technique is a renowned tool for developing mindfulness. Choiceless awareness and open awareness meditation. One concept people have about their sense of awareness is that they must choose to become aware of a particular sensation. And many basic meditations work with this uncontroversial opinion. Another way we might think about our awareness is to realize that regardless of a decision being made, there is always and already some occupying sensation to notice in this present moment. It is possible to focus the mind towards a field of sensations, like the breath or body, and recognize an experience of choiceless awareness. It is also possible to practice this choiceless awareness unconfined to a particular field of sensations, and to take the experience of being conscious as that which one is aware of. When we are open to noticing whatever happens to occur in our conscious experience, we have started to practice resting/relaxation or open awareness meditation. Diana Winston's spectrum of awareness rather conveniently and systematically moves through this natural progression of meditation by increasing mindfulness and insight to lead us to our final meditation. Non-dual meditation. Glimpsing spiritual enlightenment. The radical insight of meditation is that as a matter of conscious experience and sensation, there is no separation between you and the experiences of anything else that is. There is actually just this free-flowing and non-personal experience of being, which feels just as free if we can be mindful enough to recognize this reality in each moment. This is where meditation becomes profoundly relieving and satisfying. Life can't get better when you experience what is without judgments. And as we've seen that you can meditate with thoughts, this way of being is totally functional and can include the mindfulness of critical and constructive thoughts too. What are you if you simply rest and be with what is? What is there actually? You need a very refined faculty of mindfulness to do this kind of meditation, because mindfulness is not something many of us are very sensitive to. You need to be able to recognize an experiential shift to actually be able to apply these types of meditation techniques. Conceptual understanding is not enough here. Be here without telling yourself a story about here. Don't make up a conceptual story about what there is. Abandon your conceptualizations about being. Just be. Be very free. Simply be. And even leave the very idea of meditation behind. Although this way of meditating is commonly discussed in the context of particular ancient wisdom traditions, what we're really noticing is the non-duality of conscious experience. So technically the only thing holding you back from having a big breakthrough like this the next time you go to practice is the requisite skill and education. Rest into being. Be without ideas. Rest into being. Be without ideas. Bonus round. Less conventional meditations. I meditate every night transitioning into sleep. It's one of my favorite ways to practice. I fall asleep incredibly naturally, and the experience of sleep becomes less jarring and, if not deeply expansive at the least, very interesting. You can meditate during dreaming and bend your reality in unconstrained ways. You can be in between the waking and dream worlds too. It's also possible to meditate during sex. The sensations are very vibrant and concepts fall away quite naturally, so there's relevant potential for experiencing the nature of mind there. It's also a perfect place to practice your mindfulness and compassion with others. There's trance-like meditations as well, or meditations that set out to attain unconventional and esoteric landscapes of experience, such as bliss, thoughtlessness, and clarity. So as to not ruffle any feathers, I should emphasize that it is in my personal experience that it makes sense to mention mantra meditation and emotional elation, as well as performative meditations such as chanting, dancing, and flow expression meditation techniques here. In this video, I explain the basic workings of meditation, so that you understand what the practice actually is, so that you can do the practice in many ways from the beginning. The point of meditation is not to focus on the breath. That is just one tool for developing mindfulness. This video is really accessible for anyone, even without any prior knowledge of meditation, and it will give you the tools to become a meditator for life. Still, there are many more ways to meditate that I don't normally talk a lot about on this channel, which is why I wanted to make this video. That, and because I see a curiosity about different techniques come up a lot. Mingyur Rinpoche says we need many different ways to meditate, so that the practice doesn't become dull, but remains fresh. So I might practice any of the meditation techniques mentioned in this video anywhere from 0 to 100 times in a week. The great thing about knowing many ways to meditate is that you become empowered, having suitable options regardless of the circumstances of the day. I recommend trying every meditation technique at least once, and if curious or inspired, many times more. If you do just a different meditation technique each day for as long as you can, you may have meditated more than you would have otherwise, and it's sure to have stayed easy and interesting. What's more is that these are all profound and intimate aspects of being you. And if you haven't looked a lot yet, each technique is an access for particular and unifying discoveries. Most of the videos on this channel are about non-dual meditation. I've created the videos I wish I had when I got into meditation, when the path seemed hazy and hidden. So if you want to vanquish those challenges and share the love, joy, and peace of meditation, please share this video whenever you see someone who would benefit from it. Please like and subscribe if you want more of this content to be made. A sincere thank you for watching, and a special thanks to those of you who click the buttons, and to those of whom support me on Patreon through one-on-ones and Ko-Fi. Let me know the meditations I've missed in the comments down below, and let me know the name of the meditation you do.